always do stuff kind of on a budget. So I didn't spend a whole lot of money on the Jeep, but it was all the money I had to like replace our old 4x4 toy, you know, replace the Montero. So I spent $5,200 on this, and then I need tires, right? So I was thinking, what do I have to sell that I can sell in the house, in my shop, get rid of that I don't need? And the Ford, my spare tires, like the original King Ranch wheels and tires, the 20-inch wheels, and I think Michelin, what are they called? The LTX MT2s. They're like 275, 65/20. I had them sitting in the shop, kind of like those Silverado wheels are over there. Had them sitting in here for the past year. Sorry, let me bring it in from the wind. They've been sitting in the shop for the past year, and I thought I'll just put them up for sale and then use that to get some new tires for this. I'm not going to worry about getting new rims. I like the H2 wheels, and for our purposes, I really don't need to wheel or to air down past 10 psi for right now. So I'm just going to stick with these. I'm just going to paint them black. Yeah, probably paint them just black. But yeah, I needed new tires. So I sold my wheels and tires, but the guy that bought them, he's from Texas and he owns a logistics company. So he was like, hey, I've got a hub in Denver. Can you drop them off? I'm like, well, that's like a 6-hour trip for me, you know, round trip. It's a long way, 7-hour round trip really. And so I looked at our schedule, and just so happens I was picking up my mother-in-law from the Colorado Springs airport today at about around noon, and so I was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and I'll drop them off with you. And he agreed to, you know, he was $1,700 for the wheels and tires, and then he said, you know, I'll give you another $100 if you run them up to Denver. So I said, okay, that sounds like a deal. So I threw them in the truck. Atlas and I left this morning at like 5 in the morning. Drove all the way up there, dropped them off in his hub. We made like really good time. We got there in about 3.5 hours, maybe less, and dropped them off. He Venmo'd me, and I got on Facebook Marketplace, and I was talking to a couple of guys about their tires that had different sets of tires up there for this, and I was down to a set of 37-inch Trepadors or 37-inch Kenda Klever mud terrains, and talked to the guy with the Kendas, and he is sponsored by them and had like 8 of them to pick from. So I told him, I was like, hey man, where can we meet? I need to see you're in Broomfield, which is like a suburb of Denver. And he was like, yeah man, I got this spot. I can meet you at the Bass Pro Shop right here. And it was like 10 miles down the road from where we had just dropped off the wheels and tires for the Ford. So I was like, all right man, do you take Venmo? This guy just paid me with Venmo. So he was like, yeah man, that's fine. So I met him, went down there, and let me show you what we got. They're pretty rare. Kenda Klever MT2s, and they're 37 by 12.5, for a 17-inch wheel, and they're load D, so they should deflect really, or deform a little bit better on the sidewalls when we air down. And he used them for racing, so he's sponsored by them. They're his primary tire sponsor. So I got these for $200 each, and they're awesome. I am super stoked about it. There's a ton of tread left on them, probably 80% tread depth, but he removes certain amounts. He showed me, he had a factory, like a consumer tire in the bed of his truck, and he showed me like where he removes different material for his race truck. But yeah, so these did, I guess, a couple of races on his race truck. I don't know how often they switch them out, but he had 8 of these to switch or pick from, so I picked out the best looking ones, and yeah, so we're good to go there. And I'm gonna mount them up to the H2 wheels, and then paint the H2 wheels. Probably while they're on, I'll just bag them up, you know, put tape around them, and I don't know, maybe plasti dip the H2 wheels. I've done that before and it worked out really well, and they held up pretty well. So just a cheap little mod, but yeah, $800. Super stoked about that, because these tires, I looked them up on the Kenda website. They're $621 is their MSRP, and if you get them from pretty much anywhere online, they're anywhere from like $420 to $600 each. So $800 for 4 of them is a smoking deal with 80% tread left. Went to town today, got them mounted and balanced, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap them on real quick. Bada boom, bada bing, look at that. They're on. They're at 23 PSI right now. I'm gonna drop them way lower. Yeah, they fit good, and I'm stoked to go for a ride. Yeah, we're gonna take it out tonight.